Hey guys, it's Mrs. Zern again, and the next book I want to talk to you about is called The Swap. Like I said earlier, I am a person that needs to be excited and interested in the books that I'm reading, and this book kept me reading. I didn't want to put it down. It was so much fun. It was about a girl in 7th grade and a boy in 10th grade. So Ellie spent the summer before 7th grade getting dropped by her best friend since forever. And Jack is the boy. He spent it training in the cage with his tough-as-nails brothers and hard-to-please dad. By the time middle school starts, they're both ready for a change. And just as Jack's thinking girls have it so easy, Ellie's wishing she could be anyone but herself. Then bam, they swap lives and bodies. Now Jack's fending off the mean girls at sleepover parties while Ellie's reigning as the prince of Thatcher Middle School. As their crazy weekend races on and their feelings for each other grow, Ellie and Jack begin to wonder if maybe the best way to learn how to be yourself is to spend a little time being somebody else. This was a huge page turner for me. I didn't want to put it down. It was really exciting to read, and it made me really wonder how it would feel to be in someone else's body and live their life. So The Swap is by Megan Schultz.
Some people say that during the darkest hours of the night, life returns to this cabin. This is where old Auntie lives and appears each night. And according to the legend, she takes a girl and keeps her for 50 years, then lets her go and takes another. At first, Daniel didn't believe the story, but then his sister went missing. Or as the town folks say, she was took.
Erica, where are you?
Erica.
And it's up to Daniel to get her back. Master ghost story writer Mary Downing Hahn brings another tale of horror and suspense to your Scholastic Book Fair. Took.
Erica.
You might know me best from my graphic novels Smile and Sisters, which are both stories about me. My newest graphic novel, Ghosts, is not a story about my life, but it was inspired by this place. I grew up here on the coast of Northern California, and as you can see, it's a beautiful place. The ocean and the hills and the trees. And yet, as a kid, I hated it here. And that's partly because it's not always this nice. Sometimes it's windy and cold and very, very foggy, and I was miserable. There's a huge Day of the Dead celebration in the book, and I've been curious about Day of the Dead for a very long time. I grew up in San Francisco, which has a huge Mexican-American culture, and spent a lot of time in the Mission District growing up. And I was always interested in developing a story that sort of had roots in that place. I'm here in San Francisco's Mission District in Balmy Alley, which is full of murals that inspired me when I was a kid. They inspired my art, and there are murals and ghosts as well, and in the book, some of the murals come to life. In the story, the characters are dealing with a bit of loss, and so bringing it into the Day of the Dead was a really interesting way to have the characters celebrate the idea of loss, and it meant a lot to me as an author as well. I think you'll like reading Ghosts because even though it's a little bit scary, it's still funny, and there's a lot of adventure in it, and the things that Kat goes through are pretty awesome. You can find Ghosts at your Scholastic Book Fair.
For 12-year-old Anton, no place is safe, and there is nowhere left to run, nowhere left to hide, except underground. Long-forgotten caves below the Ukrainian countryside are his one chance to escape the enemy above. His one chance to survive the world war that is destroying everything in its path. So he lives deep under the ground in cold, black caves and tunnels, in constant fear of being caught by Nazi soldiers. Until one day, when he must make the biggest decision of his life and go from hunted to hunter. Now Anton must fight back against the enemy that seeks him. He must rise from the hidden caves and save his family. Inspired by actual events from World War II, The Enemy Above is an exciting story of war, survival, and courage. Look for it at your Scholastic Book Fair.
Ever wonder what it would be like to have your own football team? Well, I'm Ryan Zeno. I'm only 12, but I've got one. It all started when I found out two amazing pieces of news. First, that my dad owned a football team, and second, that I was going to be the new owner. Believe me, having a multi-million-dollar football team is a lot harder than it sounds. And all this attention doesn't help either, especially because what I really want, more than anything, is to be quarterback on my middle school's football team. But a lot of kids, including my own teammates, are waiting to see if I fail. So now, I've got to prove myself as a player and as an owner. Score a copy of Kid Owner at your Scholastic Book Fair.